Hare Krishna Prabhuji, you're on mute.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, we can't hear you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
You are on mute, Prabhuji.
Yeah, I'm not Prabhuji. You're not able to hear you, Prabhuji.
Let me check.
Now, yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Okay. So you didn't hear anything till now?
Yes, Prabhuji, we didn't hear anything, Prabhuji.
Okay. Sorry. It got connected, I think, to Bluetooth, and I didn't hear what you were feeding back to me. So I'll just offer a short prayer, and then we go ahead. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tadav Jayamudhiret. Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhāgavata-sevayā. Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtaki. Krishna Krishna Swadamogavate. Wait a second. कृष्णे स्वधामोपगते धर्मज्ञानादि सह कलौ नष्टदृशाम् एषा पुराणार्को अधुनोदिनितः श्रीमद्भागवतं पुराणम् अमलं यत् वैष्णवानां प्रियं यस्मिन् पारमहंस्यम् एकम् अमलं ज्ञानं परं गीयते तत्र ज्ञानविराग भक्तिसहितं नैष्कर्म्यम् आविष्कृतं तत् शृण्वन् सुपठन् विचारणो परो भक्त्या विमुच्येन् नरः श्री सर्ववेदान्तसारं हि श्रीभागवतमिष्यत् तत् रसामृततप्तस्य नान्यत्र स्याद्रतिः क्वचेत् य एतत् श्रावयन् नित्यं यामक्षणम् अनन्यदेहे श्लोकम् एकं तदर्थं वा पादं पादार्थम् एव वा श्रद्धवान् यो अनुशृणुयात् पुनाति आत्मानम् एव सः कृष्णतुल्य भागवत विभु सर्वाश्रया प्रतिश्लोके प्रति अक्षरे नाना अर्थकया प्रेममया भागवता कृष्णेर श्री अंग ताहाते कहेन यथा गोप्ये कृष्णेर अंग आदि मध्य अंत्य भागवते एकया विष्णु भक्ति नित्य सिद्धाक्षय अव्यया भागवत शास्त्रे से भक्ति तत्व कहे ते ही भागवत समा कोनो शास्त्र न है हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 16, from verse 52. Okay, so this goes as follows. लोके विततम् आत्मानं लोकचात्मानि सन्ततम् उभयं च मया व्याप्तं मयि चैवोभयं कृतम्. In this world of matter, which the conditioned soul accepts as consisting of enjoyable resources, the conditioned soul expands, thinking that he is the enjoyer of the material world. Similarly, the material world expands in the living entity as a source of enjoyment. In this way, they both expand, but because they are my energies, they are both pervaded by me. As the Supreme Lord, I am the cause of these effects, and one should know that both of them rest in me. Hmm. So, in the purport, Prabhupada is saying the original cause for material energy and spiritual energy is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. However, although the expansion of the Lord's energies is the original cause, one should not think that the Lord Himself has expanded in different ways. This is very, very subtle. I will read again so that we can understand it again. So the living entity wrongly considers the physical elements to be resources meant for their enjoyment, and they think themselves to be the enjoyers. I think you may know some religions, they say how animals are produced for our food. Not just like plants, trees, and etc. Animals are also like. However, neither of them is independent. They are both energies of the Lord. The original cause for the material energy and the spiritual energy is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. However, although the expansion of Lord's energy is the original cause, one should not think that Lord Himself has expanded in different ways. To condemn the theories of Mayavad, the Lord clearly says in Bhagavad Gita, Mat sthani sarva bhutani na chaham teshva avasthitah. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. Everything rests upon Him, and everything is but an expansion of His energies. But this does not mean that everything is as worshipable as Lord Himself. Sometimes people, have anyone seen, what is it called? Arya Samaj. Anyone heard about it? Arya Samaj, um, or even sometimes, yeah, anyway. So there are some schools of thoughts which tell, you know, they are very much against idol worship. Yeah, they say idol. Hey, come on, Lord is everywhere. Yeah? Why are you worshiping in a murti form, in a stone form or in a metal form? Lord is everywhere. Huh? How it's an offense. In fact, even if you see in Islam, idol worship is forbidden. Why? Because they say, how can you worship someone saying, okay, they are confined? That itself is a haram. Yeah, they say. Yeah. And recently I was talking to my colleague in conversation. I mean, it was his birthday, I think. I was asking, how do you celebrate? And he was telling how he did it. And then I said that typically in India, most of the people go to a temple and then they worship the Lord. And then, I mean, they come back and then I asked, by the way, did you go to a church? He said, no, we don't attribute or connect something to like that. Of course, a birthday would be like I open the doors that people can come and wish. When they come, we give something to eat, but nothing as such. In fact, we don't believe that the Lord is only in a church. He's everywhere, and in fact, we also conduct such gatherings. Not only we don't really need a church for gathering. Every alternate week I host some programs at my home, and so he was giving an understanding. I mean, all is fine. Yeah, I mean, nothing to point here, but we can see sometimes this philosophy, we can understand it leads to actually comes from a Mayavadi understanding, saying everywhere Lord is everywhere. Okay, everything is Lord, or worship. Yeah, when everything is Lord, then what is specialty of Lord? Hmm? Lord is saying everything rests upon me and everything is but an expansion of his energies. But this does not mean that everything is as worshipable as the Lord himself. This can also be understood as the Lord is expanding in various incarnations and also expansions and expansions of his plenary expansions and portions of expansions and whatnot. So many expansions. Not everyone is same Krishna. Of course, all these are expanding from him, huh? Just like a prime minister and VRO. What is VRO? Village revenue officer. Hmm? A mandal revenue officer, MRO, VRO, I don't know what on. Yeah, of course, VRO is a representative of the prime minister, right? Or chief minister, whatever you call. Of course, he should be respected. But it is not that both are of same level. Hmm? The qualification of a prime minister is different and the qualification of a VRO or authority at a local place is different. So that is understanding the demigods definitely to be respected, but not to be considered they are equal to the Supreme Lord. Because to think like that is one of the 10 offenses of the holy name. So, that's why I stopped here for us to appreciate what Prabhupada is mentioning. The material expansion is temporary, but the Lord is not temporary. The living entities are parts of the Lord, but they are not the Lord Himself. The living entities in this material world are not conceivable, but the Lord is sorry. The, the living entities in this material world are not inconceivable, but the Lord is. The theory that Lord's energies, being expansions of the Lord, are as good as Lord is mistaken. Yes, but it's mistaken. Yeah. So if you want, you can read this purport 52 further detail to appreciate the beauty of very, very subtle, but at the same time, very important understanding of God consciousness. Yeah, here of what is Lord, what is our position, etc. यथा सुषुप्तपुरुषो विश्वं पश्यति चात्मनि आत्मानम् एकदेशस्थं मन्यते स्वप्न उत्थितः एवं जागरणादीनि जीवस्थानानि चात्मनि मायामात्राणि विज्ञाय द्रष्टारं परं स्मरेत्. When a person is in a deep sleep, he dreams and sees in himself many other objects, such as great mountains and rivers, or perhaps even the entire universe, although they are far away. Sometimes, when one awakens from a dream, he sees that he is in a human form, lying in his bed in one place. Then he sees himself in terms of various conditions as belonging to a particular nationality, family, and so on. All the conditions of deep sleep, dreaming, wakefulness are but energies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One should also remember the original creator of these conditions, the Supreme Lord, who is unaffected by them. None of these, and Prabhupada writes in the purport, none of these conditions of the living entities, namely deep sleep, dreaming, and wakefulness, is substantial. They are simply displays of various phases of conditional life. There may be many mountains, rivers, trees, beasts, tigers, snakes that are situated far away, but in a dream one may imagine them to be nearby. Similarly, as one has subtle dreams at night, when the living entity is awake, he lives in gross dreams of nation, community, society, possession, skyscrapers, bank balance, possession, and honor. In fact, in the um, it is said there are many mountains, rivers, trees, beasts, tigers, snakes that are situated far away, but but in a dream, one may imagine to be nearby. Mm. So in dream we may think, oh, that is here, that is there, and all these things are quite easy to thing, but in reality they are not substantial. So similarly, to think something what we are not is also not only in dream but also in wakeful state. Thinking that I am an Indian or a German or a US citizen and all these things, I am a white, I am a black, all these things are not the real identities. So that's why they are not substantial. Under the circumstances, one should know that his position is due to his contact with material world. One is situated in different positions in various forms of life that are all but creations of illusory energy. Therefore, the Supreme Lord is ultimate actor, and the conditioned living entity should simply remember this original actor, Sri Krishna. Why? Because Krishna himself is saying, Maya Dhyakshena Suyate Sa Characharam. Bhaktivinoda Thakur sings, Viche Mayara Vase Yacha Beshe Kacha Habu Dubi Habu Dubu Bhai. Why are we being carried away by the waves of illusory energy in various phases of dreaming and wakefulness? So that's why these are all creations of Maya. He said, our only duty is to remember the supreme director of this illusory energy, Krishna. For us to do this, the Shastras advise us, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama Eva Kevalam. One should constantly chant the holy name of the Lord, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. According to this Vedic injunction, what is that? In the Mundaka Upanishad, it is mentioned, Yasmin Vignate Sarvam Evam Vignatam Bhavati. Simply by understanding Krishna, one understands Brahman, Paramatma, Prakriti, the illusory energy, the spiritual energy, and everything else. In Padma Puran, it says, Smartavyam Satatam Vishnu. We should always remember Lord Vishnu. Vismartavyo hi jatu chit. We should never forget the Lord. This is perfection of life. In fact, again, please make a note of this purport 53, 54, last line. In fact, the whole Krishna consciousness movement is telling this, that whatever we do, we should have two things in goal. What is that? As per Padma Puran, Smartavyam Satatam Vishnu Vismartavyo hi Vismartam na Jatu Chit. We should always remember Lord Vishnu. We should never forget the Lord. This is the perfection of life. येन प्रक्षुब्धः पुरुषः स्वापं वेदात्मनस्तथा सुखं च निर्गुणं ब्रह्म तम आत्मानम् अवेहि माम्. The Lord is saying, know me to be the Supreme Brahman, the all-pervading Super Soul, through whom the sleeping living entities can understand his dreaming condition and his happiness beyond the activities of mental senses. That is to say, I am the cause of activities of sleeping living beings. So, purport Prabhupada says, when the living entity becomes free from false ego, he understands his superior position as a spirit soul, part and parcel of the pleasure of potency of the Lord. Thus, due to Brahman, even while sleeping, the living entity can enjoy. The Lord says that Brahma, that Paramatma, that Bhagavan are I am myself. This is noted by Srila Jiva Goswami in the Krama Sandarbha. Ubhayam Smaratah Pumsaha Praswapa Pratibodhayoho Anveti Vyatiri Cheta Tad Jnanam Brahma Tat Param. What is the meaning of Vyatiricheta? May reach beyond. If one's dreams during sleep are merely subject matters witnessed by the super soul, how can the living entity who is different from the super soul remember the activities of dreams? The experiences of one person cannot be understood by another. Therefore, the knower of the facts, the living entity who inquires into the incidents, Krishna, manifested in dreams and wakefulness, is different from circumstantial activities. That knowing factor is Brahman. In other words, the quality of knowing belongs to living entities and to the Supreme Soul. Thus, the living entity can also experience the activities of dreams and wakefulness. In both stages, the knower is unchanged, but is qualitatively one with the Supreme Brahman. What is this saying? In Prabhupada saying, in knowledge, the living entity is qualitatively one with the Supreme Brahman, but the quantity of the Supreme Brahman is not the same as that of the living entity who is part of Brahman. Because living entity is Brahman in quality, he can remember the past activities of dreams and also know the present activities of wakefulness. You know? Because what is happening when we are sleeping in dream, actually our consciousness. Usually, if we are asleep, if someone is mm, doing something around us, usually we are not perceiving what's happening because usually we are asleep. But when in that stage, when we dream, we can see so many things. That how, yeah, of course, Paramatma is awake all the time. He is not sleeping like us. So he is witnessing what is happening. He is perceiving what is happening as part of the dream. But how can we perceive? Because qualitatively we are the same as Parabrahman. यदेतद् विस्मृतं पुंसो मद्भावं भिन्नम् आत्मनः ततः संसार एतस्य देहो मृतेर्मृतिः. When a living entity thinking himself different from me forgets his spiritual identity of qualitative oneness with me in eternity, knowledge and bliss, his material conditional life begins. In other words, instead of identifying his interest with mine, he becomes interested in his bodily expansions like his wife, children, material possessions. In this way, by influence of his actions, one body comes from another, and after death, and after one death, another death take place. So in the Prema Vivarta, Jagadananda Pandit is saying, Krishna Bahirmukha Hana Bhoga Vancha Kare Nikatastha Maya Tare Japa Tiya Dhare. As soon as this is also a very, that's why it says, always remember Krishna. It says, as soon as a living entity forgets his constitutional position and endeavors to become one with the Supreme, his conditional life begins. The conception that the Supreme Brahman and the living entity are equal, not only in quality but also quantity, is the cause of conditional life. If one forgets the difference between the Lord and the living entity, his conditional life begins. Conditional life means giving up one body to accept another and undergoing death to accept death again. Hmm? In the Mayavad philosopher teaches the philosophy of Tattvamasi. Tat Tvam, you are the same as God. Tat Tvam Asi, same. He forgets that Tat Tvam Asi applies in terms of marginal position of living entity who is like sunshine. We know sunshine and sun are different. At the same time, same. Why? Because sunshine is emanating from sun. But sunshine itself cannot exist, and sunshine itself is not independent. So that's how we can understand. There is heat and light in the sun, and there is heat and light in sunshine. Thus, they are qualitatively one, but one should not forget that the sunshine rests on the sun. As the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, Brahmanho hi pratishtaham. I am the original source of Brahman. The sunshine is important because of presence of sun globe. It is not the sun globe is important because of all pervasive of sunshine. So forgetfulness and misunderstanding is of this fact is called Maya. What is Maya? To forget our real original constitutional position and understanding that we are part and parcel of the Lord. If we forget that, that is Maya. Because of forgetfulness of one's constitutional position, that the Supreme Lord, that of the Supreme Lord, one comes into Maya or Sansara. Sarva bhinnam paratmanam vismaran samsared abhinnam samsaran yati tamo nasti atra shamshaya. So Madhvacharya says, When one thinks that the living entity is non-different in all respects from the Supreme Lord, there is no doubt that he is in ignorance. Hmm? This is Maya. लब्धेह मानुषिं योनिं ज्ञान विज्ञान संभवाम आत्मानं यो न बुद्धेत न क्वचित् क्षेमम् आप्नुयात्. A human being can attain perfection in life by self-realization through Vedic literature and its practical application. This is this is possible especially for a human being born in India, the land of piety. Uh, a man who obtains birth in such a convenient position but does not understand his self is unable to achieve highest perfection, even if he is exalted in life in the higher planetary system. Purport in the Chetan Charitamrita, there is the Bharata Bhumiye Haila Manushya Janma Yara Janma Sartaka Kari Kara Para Upakara. What is that? Everyone born in India, especially as a human being, can achieve the supreme success through the Vedic literature and its practical application in life. When one is perfect, he can render a service for the self-realization of entire human society. This is the best way to perform humanitarian work. Smrit- स्मृत्वेहायां परिक्लेशं ततः फल विपर्ययम् अभयं चापि अनीहायां संकल्पाद विरमेत कविः. He's saying, remembering the great trouble found in the fields of activities performed for fruitive results and remembering how one receives the reverse of results one desires, whether from material action or from the fruitive activities recommended in Vedic literatures, an intelligent man should cease from the desire for fruitive actions. For by such endeavors, one cannot achieve the ultimate goal of life. On the other hand, if one acts without desires for fruitful results, in other words, if one engages in devotional service or activities, he can achieve the highest goal of life with freedom from miserable conditions. Considering this, one should cease from material desires. Sukhaya dukhaya mokshaya kurvate dampati kriya tato nivrittir apraptir dukhasya cha sukhasya cha. Hmm? As husband and wife, a man and woman plan together to attain happiness and decrease unhappiness, working jointly in many ways. But because their activities are full of desires, these activities are never a source of happiness and they never diminish their distress. On the contrary, they are a cause of great unhappiness. एवं विपर्ययं बुद्ध्वा नृणां विज्ञा विमानीनाम् आत्मनश्च गतिं सूक्ष्मां स्थानत्रय विलक्षणां दृष्टा श्रुत्याभिर्मात्राभिर्निर्मुक्ता स्वेन तेजसा ज्ञानविज्ञानः संतृप्तो मद्भक्ता पुरुषो भवेत्. And then one should understand that the activities of persons who are proud of their material existence bring only results contradictory to those such persons conceive while awake, sleeping, and deeply sleeping. One should further understand that the spirit soul, although very difficult for materialists to perceive, is above all these conditions. And by the strength of one's discrimination, one should give up the desire for fruitive results in the present life and in the next, thus becoming experienced in transcendental knowledge. One should become my devotee. This is what Etaman eva manujair yoga naipunya buddhibihi swartha sarvatmana nyeyo yat paratmaika darshanam. So this is the ultimate understanding of life. There is no better truth than this. What is that? Persons who try to reach the ultimate goal of life must expertly observe the absolute person, supreme absolute person, and the living entity who are one in quality in their relationship as part and whole. Huh? त्वम् एष श्रद्धया राजन् अप्रमत्तो वचो मम ज्ञानं विज्ञानं सम्पन्नो धारयन् आसु सिद्ध्यसे. So, O King, the Lord is telling, if you accept this conclusion of mine, being unattached to material enjoyment, adhering to me with great faith, and thus becoming proficient and full of knowledge, fully aware of knowledge and its practical application in life, you will achieve the highest perfection by attaining me. After saying so, the Lord left while Chitraketu was looking. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. So this way we have completed this chapter 16, which I mean, I don't know, maybe I have pulled it long, but I think it's very worthful. It's of course a big chapter with 65 verses, and yeah, we had actually 7 parts of this, and yeah, we go forward from here. What happened to Chitraketu, and then what? Yeah, because the question is, how is Vritrasura? Yeah? I think we are actually discussing about how come Vritrasura, though he was born in a demon family, he is so elevated. Yeah, we are talking about how Narad Muni is telling about Chitraketu's life. Yeah, how as a king he desired for the child, and after he lost his child son, what happened, and that he could uh, be a recipient of mercy of Narad Muni as his guru, and all these things. And now we will see what happens after that. Thank you. Any thoughts or questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji. One question Prabhuji had about this expansion. It came in between that expansion are not as good as the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, is a Purna Midam. Everything is complete, and so completeness does not because everything emanates from God and everything is complete. So complete
So
does not translate into that everything is good.
everything, it's not about good or bad. Everything is not same as God. So just think coming from God doesn't mean it's God. Yeah, for example, the Lord, all the energies come from the Lord, emanate from Lord. Even the material energy emanates from Lord. Yeah, Maya, right? The material energy is also emanating from him. And one cannot say, okay, let me worship Maya than the Supreme Lord. Hmm?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm.
And what it also means is just because, I mean, as very nicely you referred to this Purnamada Purnamidam. So everything emanates from him doesn't mean that, okay, now everything came out. So now we just worship them. That should be enough. No, because the complete Lord is still completely there. Yeah, you're getting the point?
So these expansion are separated, but they are from Lord, but they are separated. They are not Lord. Right?
They are connected, not separated. They're connected, but they are not just Lord. So they are godly, but doesn't mean that they are God.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Right.
as the example we can see is, yes, we can see a tree is there, there is a branch, there is a leaf, there is fruit, flowers, and all these things. We cannot simply say, okay, all this tree is so nice, I don't care the root. Huh?
Mm.
Because I don't see the root, I am only seeing the tree. Let me do all the good things for the tree.
Mm. Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Mm. Yes, Prabhuji. Right, Prabhuji.
Yeah. No,
Thank you.
thanks. Mhm. Any other questions? Satish Prabhu, what is your realization today?
Prabhuji, yeah, this this pastime was always like, you know, uh, very confusing for me, Prabhuji. Maybe I have some points which I noted and I'll talk to you, Prabhuji. It's not very, clear for me. Like, I know Chitraketu Maharaj was attached to his child, but the Lord gives him something and then pulls it away to teach him a lesson. And then Vritasura story happens. So, not very clear. Please apologize, Prabhuji. But yeah.
Yeah, maybe when we meet, we can discuss further.
Yes, Prabhuji, because others were very clear, Prahlad Maharaj, but this is like always, back and forth. I know I'm hearing for the third time, but still it's confusing, Prabhuji, for me, because he gives something, he pulls it back and then teaches a lesson and then he goes into pain. And then, yes, Prabhuji.
Mhm. Okay, good. Then maybe Shruti Mataji, about you? How is it?
Prabhuji, did you mention my name?
Yeah.
Sorry, I was doing some work in simultaneously. So
Okay,
yeah. Sorry,
fine.
Prabhuji. Can you repeat the question?
No, I was just asking, how is this chapter? How are you able to relate, or anything that uh, you're connecting to?
For me, this is the first time I'm listening to this full Bhagavatam. So it's a lot to process and absorb. So yeah, every chapter, everything is it's a lot of information and lot of food for thought.
Mm. Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, it's so much. Yeah. By the time we remember something, at least my capacity is very poor. I forget something very easily. So, though we are reading this third time or fourth time, yeah, still first hearing itself, how I don't know how much is lost in that, not able to hear properly. And then next thing is how much I'm able to retain, remember it, how much I'm able to apply it. Mm. Yeah.
And sometimes the same was like if it is repeated also from
Mm.
in different places or even from same person, there are so many perspectives, so many different angles of looking at it.
Mm.
So it's always learning and lot of food for thought.
Mm. Yeah.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Prabhuji.
Thank you. Thank you. And last but not least, I don't know who is behind this Rayansh. Is it Pragati, or is it Harish, or Rayansh himself? How is how is that for you? Um, Maybe not the three. Someone else is there behind the name.
Hare
Okay.
Krishna, Prabhuji. Riyansh has opened so many other screens on the top, so it took some time for me to come to this screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, Prabhuji. So every time all the Bhagavatam chapters or what we are able to listen or understand is for me, it's just showing the bhav of detachment. So sometimes it's hard to relate as well that how is it possible to be somewhere and detached at the same time up to this extent. But yes, that's the reality.
Yeah. That's why this book is for Paramahamsas. But then the question is coming, are we really qualified to hear? No, when we hear, then we develop the mode of Paramahamsas to become pure. And yeah, nice way to see this is helping in the right way.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Oh, thank you all for joining. I'm very happy because you're taking out your time and then prioritizing this. And that gives me the opportunity to read and discuss through this process. I am actually getting benefited. Thank you for that. Okay. Then Then thank you so much. Vanchakalpatarabhyascha kripa sindhubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Grantharaja Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.